Hello everyone, we got another resin model in. Seems to be all I'm collecting on 164. I concentrate on resin because I don't trust die cast. I think they're all ticking time bombs waiting to get paint rash. But I don't think that's going to happen with plastic bodies. But I could be totally wrong, so don't spend your money based on me. Anyways, this is a brand called DMH, Describe Machine Honor, and this is the 599 GTO. I actually thought I was buying the GTB, which is the original Fiorano. Wikipedia is telling me that the GTO, there's around 800 of these by the way, is the street legal version of the 599XX, whereas the GTB is just the original Fiorano. Okay, so that explains why this thing has these black wheels and some sort of like weird gray carbon lower paneling. So in 2010, this GTO was announced as the third Ferrari to have the GTO designation, although this one was never meant for racing purposes, whereas the other two were. Okay. No, I should probably continue cutting this. Hold on. The 6-liter V12 engine in this particular GTO now is making like 660 horsepower, so that's up quite a bit from the original Fiorano. It's a front engine mid, it's somewhere around there, I guess. And I guess that's all I care to learn about it. At the time, it was the fastest Ferrari. It would actually beat the Ferrari Enzo around a racetrack, so that's pretty impressive for a front mid-engine. I guess it doesn't, well, I don't know. I kind of feel like a rear mid-engine, like F1 cars, would give a better driving position, so front mid, maybe less desirable. Cover was kind of loose, so you don't want to pick it up by the cover. So we got some guy in Japan or something rolling around one of these. Got black wheels. And yeah, I don't know why you would want to buy that option, having this black. A lot of other ones, this is red. You know, this panel here. So that's interesting. Here's a side view, yeah, where the panel is red, and I would buy that version. Also because it has gunmetal wheels instead of black wheels. But the roof, I think, is always going to be this gunmetal color. And look how well that roof matches up with the photograph. Same with the front hood, the rear. Yeah, so that matches up pretty well. And here we have one in Europe, apparently. And we got some exhaust pipes there. It's really hard to focus between two objects, so yeah. And there's holes there in the rear of the model. I don't know where those holes are in that photograph, though. It's kind of dark there, though, in the photograph, though. Let's continue on. Get the scissors out of the way. Well, you got an acrylic base. Let's see if this thing is new. I've had a few of these scratched now. It's kind of annoying. This is new. There's no scratches on the bottom of this. This wackiness is the acrylic glue that's bonding the clear to the white piece. And then you have this nameplate. I don't know if it's metal or cardboard. Anyways, just the car, the brand. Although what's odd is the DMH here, it says CLA. So I'm not sure what CLA means, but it's a DMH logo. And then, yeah, there it tells you this is number 164. Alright. Let's start here. Front wheel, and yes, it is black, and I don't like it, but I missed out on the original all red colors. I wasn't thinking about buying it back then. Okay, well, there's molded details of some lug nuts, and the spokes are very thin. The tire is nice and rounded. You can see how soft it is. And what's nice about the tires, they don't look like they're gonna go rally racing. You know, they look like street tires from the side, and yet there is a tread, I think. Or is there? Let's see in the back. Yeah, there's some sort of tread. Yeah, okay. But yeah, the side blocks don't show on the side, and that's the way it's supposed to be. So the crest here looks alright. And then we have some sort of marker. That's some sort of resin. You can see the light bouncing around in there. And then we have this little vent. It's a separate piece. Very cool. And the paint is relatively smooth. It's not a little wavy, but not too bad. And then this color here, it's like a gunmetal, I would say, a dark gunmetal color. And there's some sort of text there. I don't know if that's like the styling house badge. I don't know. Yeah, I think that's supposed to say Pininfarina. Yeah, okay. Now, unfortunately, I'm seeing there's not enough of that gunmetal covering that corner right there. This is a separate inserted piece. Looks nice. There's a little chromed or metal piece for the lock. And unfortunately, the door handle is almost vanished. You know, it's been filled in so much with red paint. It's unfortunate. It's almost gone. Separate mirrors, this gunmetal as well, and it's actually got air passing between the struts of it. And then it's got a reflective sticker, is what I'd expect in any resin model now. And then the rear tires, big and juicy. Is it a higher? I don't know if those are the same. I think the rear wheel is bigger than the front wheel. I could be mistaken. It could be an optical illusion. Oh, I didn't even talk about the brakes. That is too bright. Let's try one lumen. Yeah, so we have a three-dimensional red caliper. The rotor, can't tell if there's a texture. Yeah, I feel like there's a slotted texture. What about the front? I also feel like there's some extra metal sticking up here on the top of that circle, you know, where it came off the etching plate. It's a minor nitpick. Alright, well anyways, there's a brake system there. Where to go now? So the side window here is very thin, and it's got a piece of metal painted black for the window molding on top of it. The blackout is probably on the back side. I do feel this might be a continuous piece of plastic here. This is just the metal on top of it. So look at this. It's that plastic, like the real car, I guess. The glass allows air to pass there and sends it backwards towards this little wing there in the rear. So that's pretty neat. Well, I'm not sure. Now, I don't see this on the real car. You see how this is stepped down? That's not right. This is supposed to be one continuous surface. So I don't know why they would mold this roof to be that off from this. It's really strange. I don't know the logic behind that, unless that roof is a separate piece. It's not pushed down enough, but it looks weird. It's not as smooth as the Ferrari would be. You know, if this is a Ferrari from the 60s, I could understand, but this is a relatively modern one. Well, I guess I'm going around to the back, gravitating towards that direction. We have some vent details, a separate piece there. We have the taillights, translucent red, and there's a center, probably like a photo etched piece of metal. Let me get in on. No, I have 4 times magnification already, but it's got some sort of like pattern in it, like a starburst pattern or something. Okay, wow, this is a really shiny clear coat. Let's concentrate on this there. The gunmetal here looks pretty good. Those exhaust pipes look fantastic. They are so thin, so round, and so shiny. Like, I think they're metal tubes, but not only that, I think they polish the edges, because a lot of other tubes I see from other brands, they show the jaggedness of the cuts, but not this one. Alright, a nice grill texture here is a separate piece, and then these mysterious circles. Maybe those are reflectors, or in the backup light, maybe. I'm not sure. Please leave a comment if you know. Yeah, it's weird. Why would those holes be there? Okay. The strakes are okay, I guess. There's some sort of thin metal base. It looks like you know, something you'd find on a real car to clean up the air down here. That's weird. Okay. Well, anyways, unfortunately, there's no license plate, which I find to be weak on a resin model. Right? If you can print a license plate on a Hot Wheels, you should be able to have some sort of license plate on a resin model, whether it says Ferrari or DMH or whatever, 599, anything, right? It's just weird to have a blank spot. I'll have to add my own later. And what is this text here to the right? I can't make, oh, I think that says GTO. Yeah, GTO looks good. That horse looks good. Third brake light, I think, is this piece of clear resin. The Ferrari up here is nice and legible. Tiny bit crooked, but not bad. Rear glass, I hate defroster lines, I don't know why. this brand would have them. You can't see them on a real car, but they're there. Okay, and then we'll get the interior later. Alright, so this side here looks okay. The fuel filler, I guess, is on this side. Focus here. Yeah, that step down is really weird. It makes no sense. Alright, so that glass looks fine. The molding on top of it again. I feel that mirror might be pointed upwards a little bit too much, but whatever. That looks fine, that looks fine. This all looks good. Tires, wheels, everything looks pretty good to me. Alright, wrapping to the front. We have separate inserts here, and then one in the middle, but this middle one, I feel like it's sticking out a little too much. Maybe it's not. See that big, I saw like a big crease, yeah, there. That big air gap is a little distracting. The horse is nicely centered though, and I'll get the flashlight, see if we can, I'll see if we can see anything behind these vents. They're pretty big holes, but no, there's nothing back there. Probably just a recess in black paint. Alright, so the headlights look really nice. I mean, there's molded lens covers, but behind it you have, you know, some sort of shiny projector. Yeah, and then there's some finning or something on there, and then above it there's this orange, I assume, turn signal area. So it looks good. It's really impressive that this is molded so well. And I don't really see much glue residue, or if any, it's barely noticeable. It's not even, maybe right there, but here I don't see any. So I have no idea how they even have that thing stuck on there. I mean, a tiny bit there maybe. It's really impressive. I like it. Alright, the badge there looks good. And then we have these vents, and they have separate inserted grills, so that's nice. A little bit of orange peel, not too bad though. Wiper blades look fantastic. There's literally like two arms there. This is a parallelogram, that's just an arm. And then the blades are bent perpendicular to the windscreen, so that's realistic. Alright, going to the interior, look at that dashboard. That is really nice. You got this black in front, and then this carbon fiber on that more vertical area. I don't know if it has a decal, but it's really smooth looking, so I don't know if it's a tampo print or not. And you can see the floor mats have a cool like texture to them. That's nice. And this might be, I don't know if that's a stitching pattern going around the instruments there. You know, maybe there's a leather covered dashboard perhaps. And then it really helps that it's a brown interior, because you can see the contrast of the black against it, although my LED is going to make my camera freak out. Alright, I guess that's the best angle. So you got tan seats, and you got some sort of carbon looking pattern inside with some stitch marks. The headrests have yellow horses of all things. Interesting. And there's an air gap between the headrest and the lower section. The rear view mirror is not a flat piece of metal, it's a molded piece of plastic probably. Black out of the windscreen looks pretty good. Yeah, center console is a little red right there. Some silver buttons perhaps. Any seat belts? Yes, there's a seat belt hanging right there with a tongue stuck to it. It's a black seat belt. So then the seatbelt buckle, yes, it looks like there's black seatbelt buckles. They're very thin, of course, probably metal, but it's nice to have some detail than none. A little phone rest, a little mesh back there, mesh pocket probably for on the back wall. Okay, let's see about the door panel. Where's my flashlight? Yeah, carbon texture on the door panel there. Armrest. Yeah, it looks pretty good. So the steering wheel's got a prancing horse or something on it. It's a round steering wheel at this point in time. That looks like an ignition key. Look at that. I've never seen that before. There's literally an ignition key hole on that steering column. That's a new one for me. Impressive. Those little central vents might be separate pieces. The instrument binnacle looks like it's illuminated. It's got a central, like, orange tachometer or something. Some dials right there. I don't know know if we're going to be able to see pedals. Look at the back of the seats. They have a carbon texture or carbon decal. Very neat. Oh, look at that. Cross-drilled pedals there. All three. Very nice. Or maybe that's a footrest on the left. But anyways, those are photo etched pieces. So these are suspended from the top. Yeah, then a little horse there. More dial action. Not much for the passenger, of course. But there is a texture way up there in the footwell of the passenger. Anyways, yeah. And then it looks like a horse on the left of the instrument binnacle, and then a black and white gauge to the right. See, that's a nice thing about these really clear windows. Even though I hate these defroster lines, you can still see through them. Okay, well, that's a nice interior. Yeah, no problems at all. Very good. In fact, I don't think there are any problems with this model. I think it's a flawless model. If one were to nitpick, I suppose it might be that tiny gap in the front grille. See? It looks pretty bad. But if I push it, it won't be curved properly. Yeah, it's not... I don't want to mess with it. I'll leave it alone. Alright, a few Kyosho's here. We have the original 599 GTB road car Fiorano. And this is a die-cast model. It's still really nice, I think, even by today's standards. Well, the molded-in mirrors kind of give it away to its age. And then this is another Kyosho, the SA Aperta version. I like these metallic colors. Okay, and then resin-wise, I have the XX, which is the race car version of this car. So I guess it's... Well, this came before or after? Probably before it. And this is by a brand called Cars Lounge. And I don't recall that being a problem. I don't think there are any problems with that car. And it's got even more parts, like these funky wings hanging off the side of it. So, yeah, it's really neat. Get a low angle view here, a more human view. Those rear circular holes are really mysterious to me, but I'm sure one of you guys knows a lot more about cars than me, and or perhaps you're just bored and you want to let everyone else know what those holes are in the back. But that grill gap really is noticeable, isn't it? Not a fan of that. It's a real shame. Yeah, so that grill gap, not great. So I suppose this is not a flawless model then, because you just shouldn't have a gap like that in the grill. But other than that, it's pretty nice. I like it. I'm still happy to have this. So another decent job by DMH. Not their best effort, but definitely not their worst effort. So I'm pretty happy with it in general. So thank you for watching today. We'll see you in the next resin video. Bye now.